What's good, beautiful people? It's your main man, Big G, here on Industry Talk, and welcome to Primetime Pod, the hottest information resource outlet for all things entertainment, breaking news, celebrity interviews, and the hot topics of the day. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms, our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, you name it, we're on it. Just Google us. Boss Talk Podcast 101 Primetime.
Okay. Shit. Prime time vibe. Make sure you check it
How? Why the fuck you think he missing? He say that.
And second bill a whole lot.
Now I'm not trying to get a little messy with you.
out. Time is money. They go trap.
What's good? What's good? What's good, beautiful people? It's your main man, Big G. I'm in your space and I'm in your face and I'm coming at you all the way live. It is still a very cold day here in Mississippi. You're tuned into Industry Talk. It is January 27th, 2026, and time just keeps on ticking, ladies and gentlemen. Time just keeps on ticking. I certainly appreciate and thank all of you for joining me today here on the show. I'm going to go through my system checks real quick and make sure that everything's lined up and ready to go. Today is a special day. It's a Tuesday. You know, we normally rock Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but today we have a special segment. Today, the internet is on my side. AT&T and I had a very good conversation, and hopefully the intermittent signal that I was dealing with in a conversation that I engaged in on Friday with brother Greg Lambert, aka G Fury, works out to our favor today because I was enjoying the conversation and what we were getting into. So here in just a moment, we're going to bring Greg into the studio and we're going to get back into what we were talking about last week. And we'll bring you up to speed with everything that we have going on and everything that we're going to be talking about. The story just gets more interesting as it plays itself all the way out. So tonight, we're stepping into jurisprudence, not the textbook definition, but how it actually shows up in real life. Jurisprudence is about how laws are interpreted, how justice is applied, and who truly benefits when decisions are made. It's the difference between what the law says and how it's used, between fairness on paper and fairness in practice. Because the truth is, laws don't operate in a vacuum. They are shaped by perspective, power, precedent, and people. And when those factors collide, the outcomes can look very different depending on where you stand. So tonight, we're asking real questions. Who decides how justice is applied? Who gets protected? And who gets punished? And when does interpretation become influence? This isn't about legal jargon. It's about impact. It's about understanding the system so we're not just subject to it. So lock in, ladies and gentlemen. This is Industry Talk, and I appreciate you for being here and a part of the show. If you have not subscribed to Boss Talk Podcast 101, Boss Talk Podcast 101 Primetime, make sure you do so, and this snip is for you. Stop what you're doing right now and go subscribe to Boss Talk Podcast 101 Primetime on YouTube, all social media platforms, Boss Talk Podcast 101 Primetime. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to make sure you tap in. Right now, over 72,000 subscribers and well over 11 million views and watch time hours. So make sure that you continue to support, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, and keep tapping in with us because we're going to keep on bringing you this hot content every day and in every way. It's your main man, Big G. And make sure, like I said, stop what you're doing right now and tap in. Like, share, subscribe. Boss Talk Podcast 101 Primetime. Yes, indeed. Make sure you lock in with us. Like, share, and subscribe. So before I kick this thing off, let me go black right quick.
Federal court filing, a lawsuit filed in Tennessee with his name listed as the defendant. Now here's where it gets interesting. Greg currently lives in Maryland, and as of right now, there hasn't been any formal service, no paperwork delivered, no official notice, which means the first time he's actually seeing this is the same way the public will see it, online. So instead of reacting the way social media usually rewards, emotion, outrage, instant takes, he decided to do something much quieter. He decided to read the document. That's it. Because this filing is public record, anyone can pull it up. But very few people actually read what's inside these things before forming an opinion. So this series isn't about attacking anyone. It's not about proving anything. And it's definitely not about winning an argument online. It's about understanding how legal documents work, how allegations are written, how narratives get framed once lawyers, institutions, and timelines get involved. Words like verified complaints sound final. They sound authoritative, but they're still allegations, written from one side at one moment in time. So in the next clips, we're going to do something very simple and very boring. We're going to walk through the document, calmly, in context. When something is alleged, we'll call it an allegation. When something can be checked against public records, we'll talk about that too. No theatrics, no insults, no speculation. Just reading what was filed, so people actually understand what they're reacting to. This is episode 1.
Okay. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm bringing to the stage my man, Greg Lambert, a.k.a. G Fury, and we are going to get into it. What's going on, my brother? What's going on, Greg? Can you hear me, brother?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? How about now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can hear you fine. You can't hear me?
I can't hear you.
Let me check on some things. Hold tight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get this working. Boom. Let's bring it back. Okay. What about now? Can you hear me now, G?
Yeah, I still have no sound.
No sound? No sound? Okay. How about now? Can you hear me? No?
All right.
I'm not sure why you're not hearing me. Magic. Mic check, mic check, mic check. What about now? Can you hear me now? Oh, he didn't drop off. But we're gonna get this thing going. If you can't hear me out there, let me know. What's going on, Asia Dime? Can you hear me? Asia, if you can hear me, let me know you can hear me. I need to know if you can hear me out there in social media land. Let me bring Greg back into it. All right. Can you hear me now, G?
Perfect. I just had to log out.
Oh, okay. You got me thinking I'm going through technical difficulties again. I'm about to tear up everything in this month.
Right.
How you doing, man?
Man, trying to stay warm over here in Maryland, man. We had to deal with this storm
Oh
that was
wow,
last week.
y'all caught it a little bit, huh?
Yeah, about 15 inches.
15. Wow. Yes, indeed. That's pretty serious. It's pretty thick. So how's it on the roads?
They're good. I mean, they're gotten better. You know, like we were trapped in the house yesterday, but today we weren't. So we went out. So I went to the gym. My wife went out, ran her errands real quick. So, but kids won't have school tomorrow. So I don't think they'll go back to school until like Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good deal. Well, it's looking like we're going to be in better shape tonight, digging off a little bit more into this talk topic.
Right.
My opening monologue, of course, I made reference to jurisprudence, right?
Right.
And how this legal system dictates what it calls law.
Right.
You know, the constraints and confines of law. If you have no idea of how it works, you hire an attorney,
Right.
and they disseminate information up and down the command structure or the line of interpretation the
Right.
way that they see fit, not the way that you actually see it.
Correct.
As an individual,
right,
common man, because it's a body of rules and regulations that you have to abide by. And you've jumped off into those rules and regulations because I think I got some information that you sent over to me. It was a verified complaint, right?
Right.
Okay. And this information was filed in the Northern Division. Okay. In the Eastern District of Tennessee in the Northern Division, right? These are official documents that have been filed.
Correct.
Okay. And these documents are a complaint that was filed against you by your former employer. Well, no, let me not say that, because the employer was Tennessee.
Correct.
The head coach of the Tennessee track team was Mr. Ross.
Correct.
Okay, and Ross obviously had some issues that we talked about in our past interview that were brought to his attention, you know, because some other people kind of stirred the pot. Because I can't sit there and see where dyslexia should be a ruling factor for reprimanding you in any kind of way. If anything, because you did it in close quarters. You know, you came to him like a man and said, "Hey, man, I got an issue," and you wanted assistance since you thought you guys were friends, basically.
Correct.
Okay, so in lieu of that, you had some other coaches that were kind of poking the bear. Either they wanted your spot, or either there was some salt that was being thrown into the gumbo, a little extra salt that was being thrown into the gumbo, and he started to have some sort of disdain for you.
Correct.
Okay. So I'm just trying to bring the audience up to speed, and I don't want to get anything wrong because we've already gone through the way you went to high school. We went through, you know, the track dynamic. We've gone through all of the stuff, and we'd gotten to the point to whereas we were talking about how this all began to fall off of the tracks. Right. And then you know, for happenstance, you were checking out something on the internet. You Googled yourself and you saw that you had an outstanding lawsuit pending against you by said plaintiff, Mr. Ross, right?
Correct.
Who was at the time the head coach and director of track and field at the University of Tennessee. And this action was to prevent the defamation and disparagement and cyber harassment that was ongoing on behalf of Greg Lambert, allegedly.
Correct.
Okay, so how are you And that's just to give you a brief. How are you, once I frame that based on what these papers are saying, how are you defending yourself against said interpretations within these documents?
Well, my
And
first,
that's just one part of the whole claim dispute, everything that was claimed by Ross.
correct.
Because you had messages, you have pictures of him and Diddy and the Michigan coach and all, all kind of stuff that they brought into this into this documentation to try to say that, you've been defaming his character, and as a result, he's lost his job, or he's lost
recruits
$50,000 or whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
right?
damages of $50,000 and it's hurt the recruiting, and so pretty much.
So give it to me, man. Give it. I need your take on what we're talking about right now.
Okay. So to give you context for me, how my knowledge has improved and understanding this, when I came up with this idea, those were things that I know him as a person that he would probably try to sue me for that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm looking at everything from SNL. When you think of them, they do political commentary. You do go back in the day, back when A Living Color did political commentary or social commentary, or you're just talking about hip hop. Those are forms of art. So like anything kind of gets freedom in that regard, right?
Right.
Okay. But the big thing is, with that being said, that if you going back looking at the document, he does make sure that we know that he's an Olympian, that he is the head coach of the University of Tennessee. So in that regard, he is a public figure.
Okay.
So public figures are not exempt from that, let alone that he's a very transparent, big public figure in the world, because the back in 2000 with the Marion Jones and Barry Bonds and Balco, he was linked to that. So he was actually, if I think I remember in the case, he was also part of the whistleblowing in that regard.
Okay, so if he was a whistleblower within the whole situation, then he stood on the other side of the river. He wasn't one of the ones that was issuing illegal substances or PEDs to athletes.
I can't say what was going on in that camp, because that was so long ago. It was but I know in there that he got a ban. He got
banned because he was a whistleblower. He didn't get banned because he was pushing dope.
I can't say if he was part of the he got banned for being a whistleblower. Mm-hmm. I can say that you don't ban anybody for telling.
Nope. So no, hold on. You have people that end up dead because they whistleblowers. Come on now.
Well, I'm saying in the world of track and field, if you have not done anything wrong,
okay,
you have, and you're telling on somebody,
you
know what I'm saying? You're not going to get banned. That's not something and you've done anything wrong. I haven't heard of that happen.
You're not gonna. There's not a legal sanction that's gonna come across for you to be dismissed or disbarred or disbanded from the sport. I get you.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Like I'll give you an example.
But there could be enough pressure, and there could be enough pressure from certain bodies of the sports world that lean on the powers that be in the legal side that they shouldn't even be consorting. But there is conversation, just like we're talking about in jurisprudence. This has something to do with power and precedent and the whole nine yards. And at the bottom line, it really falls on the people. But some decisions could be made at the top where you're saying, hey, okay, well, let's blackball this man. And I'm not, whether he did or whether he didn't, I'm just asking for context. Once again, for me to be on, to come to a true understanding of what's going on. Was he on this side of it or on this side of it? But later on, I think you were telling me that his own son got caught with a drugging situation or performance enhancement, drug situation. So that's even more context to say, well, maybe he was on the other side.
Yeah,
but
and
I'm not trying to weigh it out or say, he did or he didn't. I'm just trying to give you the entire picture
right,
so that when someone says, hey, Greg is doing this defamation of character and AI illustration and it's hurting my integrity, it's hurting my character, and I'm an Olympian and things of this nature, I just want people to understand that these are things that have been found true and are public record. So it's nothing that people couldn't go find themselves. It's just
correct,
that you are exploiting this like Weird Al Yankovic would do a Michael Jackson song,
correct,
or what trolling is today as a result of, hey, I really could have went and punched this motherfucker in his face, but instead of me going to jail and having to deal with lawsuits, and I'm going to sit there and get behind this computer and just crush his whole character.
correct.
So there is intent there.
I would say their intent is here. Here's where their intent is. I took my story, and I figured that a beef with me and him, because it was a real beef.
Right.
It's not fake. It's real. You know what I'm saying? And I just brought it to the internet.
Gotcha.
And my whole thing is, if because I try to, because to be fair to, if someone would ask, like, well, why would you go that way with your content? Well,
Mhm.
to be fair, I tried it the other way. I tried to, like, hey, just keep putting it out, but like, and being like trying to be politically correct. But I know controversy sells, and I know me and his controversy is known on bestowing coaches, but to bring it into a world where coaches can now actually see it, brings a whole different uh, perspective, and it gives them, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it gives them the opportunity to see how I handle it and be able to look at it and create entertainment. So I'm creating entertainment of my life. And so, like,
Okay.
my beef, even though I'm going to him, there's parts in my music where I'm talking about myself, but I don't just go at him. I go at
Right.
everybody. He was just
Right.
the first. The idea was no different than when 50 Cent back in '99, he dropped How to Rob an Industry Nigga. And that was one of the craziest records at that time, because no one ever heard anybody like that going at each other, like just really
Mhm.
talking about it. And my
Mhm.
idea was the same exact thing. Like a track beef, the only thing I would expect him to do is get on the mic. So am I exploiting my situation? Yes. Am I doing it to get a boost on the algorithm? Yes. If is it that I'm looking at when I body him on the gram, or any of my music, that is my algorithm and my getting more views? Yes. Am I going to exploit that until it's telling me otherwise? Yes. But
Okay.
it's at the end of the day, there's like, okay, it's not my beef with Tennessee or Ross. I'm using that situation and
Mhm.
making fun of it in the same
I
sense
understand.
with
Mhm.
it. So to get in my content within at this point, because my music is uh somewhat track and field related, to the track and field world. So, and
Okay.
again, it's a very small audience that
Mhm.
I'm getting to,
Mhm.
because
Okay.
it's not like I
Well,
have a hundred
well,
thousand followers.
all right. Well, what I get what you're saying. And but we're getting to the bottom of this because, like I said, we're talking about jurisprudence,
Hmm.
and now we're looking at, okay, is there intent there to as in the complaint since May of 2024,
Actually,
following his
it,
forced resignation, the recruiting coordinator for the University of Tennessee track and fields program, defendant
mhm,
Lambert, has
mhm.
engaged in relentless and a malicious campaign designed to destroy Roy's professional reputation, wreak havoc on Coach Ross's personal relationships, as well as to damage the University of Tennessee's track and field program, because you're targeting it to a track and field community. That's where it really matters, right?
You're right. You're
Okay,
right.
okay. I'm just
No, no, no. You're right. No, no, you're right. It's a track and
okay,
field community
okay. All right. So
nationally,
so when
right?
we
Remember, nationally, right?
huh?
national track and field. So we're talking about nationally, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And of course, we all know that the SEC is one of the biggest and strongest, when it comes to national recruiting, when it comes to colleges that are within the SEC, it holds a lot of weight. So what you've done is put a spotlight or peel back the scab of something that, of course, he instigated it. Let's start there first. He instigated it, right? Because of his actions. He lied. He said that you verbally resigned when in fact you didn't. And because of what is written in the law of operations for Tennessee, you can't verbally resign. So that was a false statement. So he lied on you. He tried to force you to resign, but in your mind, you're like, well, shit, if you want me to just fire me, so at least you can collect unemployment. You moved your family there. You got 2 boys. This isn't something that you're trying to play with. This is your life and your livelihood. And so as a result, you're saying, okay, this is the only way that I can, or one of the ways that I'm going to protect myself, because lo and behold, I didn't even know there was a lawsuit out against me, or there was a complaint out there for me to stop doing what I'm doing, because they haven't yet asked you to stop doing what you're doing.
Nope.
There hadn't been any type of cease and desist letters that have come out, correct?
Nope.
Okay. So as we're going through this complaint, I'm just trying to figure out if in fact what you're saying is marginally true or can be found in public record. There is no leg to stand on when it comes to defamation.
Right. And there is a temporary restraining order on me and an injunction.
How?
That was the remedy that he asked.
Okay, so where does he live? In which state?
In Tennessee.
He lives in Tennessee. Just for the people, where do you live?
Maryland.
That's quite a distance apart. What kind of restraint? Are we talking about an internet restraining order?
I guess he wants an injunction on my speech and my commentary and my art and my satire.
Okay, so now we're talking about a First Amendment right.
Correct.
Okay, so please fill me in on how you feel about that in particular, and how do you fight that in your mind, not in terms of what the courts may say, but in your mind, how do you feel you need to approach this, and how you're coining it with your AI character, G Fury, how you're breaking down each part of your case and giving your overture about what you feel or what you know and what you've read contextually needs to be done in this particular case?
Well, my first approach to this is I have to take my emotion out of it, obviously.
Okay.
Because that's going to be the first thing. So the next thing, I got to sit there and look at it from another perspective, which is something that I had to learn to do, is his perspective.
Mhm.
And learning out his perspective, and then sitting there seeing from his perspective, let's just say everything he says is true, right? I'm defaming him. I'm doing this. And I'm doing all those things that he's saying. I'm harassing him. And let's say, for the sake of argument, that is true, right?
Mhm.
My approach of looking at this, my first question is this the correct jurisdiction? Because I live in Maryland, and he never once said in that document, he never said Tennessee is affecting him in Tennessee. He says nationally. So in my mind, why are you having it? I'm in Maryland. I committed the crime. Technically speaking, if I'm defaming you in Maryland.
Mhm.
Yes, you work in Tennessee, but just because you felt it there, and there are plenty of court cases that are like that, does not mean that is where you have to file. So at that point, it would have makes more sense for him to file in Maryland. So from a jurisdiction standpoint, that's going to be my first approach, because you're supposed to file in Maryland. That's a whole different conversation at that point. But there's a reason why he filed there. So we'll get to that next, afterwards. So when we're talking about that, that's the first way I'm approaching it. Is this the correct jurisdiction? Tennessee has, I don't live in Tennessee. I don't have business in Tennessee. I don't own anything in Tennessee. And so how can you sit there and take accountability for me for my speech and while I'm all the way in Maryland?
Right.
All right. That's my first thing. All right. I am a Maryland resident. So that's, again, I get if I was still in Tennessee, but I'm a Maryland resident. All right. Now, venue. That's my next thing. Again, Tennessee doesn't seem like the correct venue. Jurisdiction and venue are two different things, but the venue where it needs to be, again, I'm going to sit there and say, is where I reside, because that's where the content was made. That's where all the things I was doing and saying was made. Now, if it's again, national reputation. Now, if he said Tennessee reputation, right, it makes sense to have it there, but he never said Tennessee reputation. He said national. Again, why are we having this conversation if that is what the damages are? Now, if you go look at what the damages that he's asking for, $500,000, right? And also my content to be taken down, right? One, have you lost a job? You haven't lost a job. You haven't talked about it. Now here you're saying it's affecting your recruiting. Whose recruiting is it affecting? Is it affecting Dwayne Ross? Or is it affecting University of Tennessee? Because University of Tennessee, last time I checked, is not on that complaint. No different if so you can't use them as one time, use them when it's for yourself, because if that's the case, then Tennessee would be coming after me. Now that would be in a cease and desist, which none has happened. He's not going to talk about what's in what he has done with University of Tennessee. Again, that's me. I'm not saying that's him, but Tennessee has filed on Instagram a total of, I want to say, about 6 complaints against me. Again, that's Tennessee. It didn't say the Ross, but again, it goes back to Tennessee. Again, Tennessee, that's the most Tennessee has done, because, again, I know how it works. It was their content. It was not their content, my content. And again, it was the track and field content page that was affected. Now, again, they did not like the views, and that had to be ordered from somebody. Now, I can't say it was Ross, but I could probably figure that it is. But again, Tennessee is the person. So if I was for me to challenge that, I'm not going to challenge Ross. I'm challenging Tennessee. Now, for Ross, you can't. That's just for me. So for the same exact thing, you can't claim damages on recruiting, let alone you haven't even showed or displayed anything remotely close that your recruiting has been affected. Have you not got any recruiting?
Okay, let me get this in.
Sorry about that.
No. I love the passion, but this is a part of what you're talking about. Okay, so, and this is straight from the complaint, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm trying to get some feedback, because I want to see how Mr. Lambert is going to, how he's leveling it out in his mind, how this is supposed to work, not how the courts work, right? But the logical approach of how he's trying to break this down in terms of when someone wages war against you, because that's basically what this is. An individual has stated in a false report, because obviously that's what this is, a false report, that this man has violated him in some sort of way as it relates to his character, his integrity, the whole 9 yards. So according to Ross, the false and offensive substance of defendant Lambert's publications, which are either emails or the AI information or the music that is going out over social media and various platforms, as well as the timing of the publications, leaves no doubt that Lambert acted with actual malice. Is that true? Yes or no? No. Okay. And the specific intent to harm Ross, whether it be physically, mentally, spiritually, true or false?
True. I mean, those were not my intent to.
Okay. So thank you for being honest. Unfortunately, Lambert's smear campaign has succeeded in causing significant injury to Ross, including damaging Ross's personal and professional reputations. There is also a significant likelihood that the false and damaging propaganda spread by defendant Lambert has impaired the University of Tennessee's reputation in the track and field community, such that it will impact the success of its track and field program under Ross and endanger Ross's job and financial security. So, based on what you were talking about,
Right.
and bringing to light that information within the complaint, okay, and of course you stated that there was no malice and there was no harm that you were trying to impact on Ross. But obviously he feels as though, and in the complaint he's saying, I guess so, Ross is feeling that it's been super successful, shall shall we say. But of course, when the weight of the world and the bricks are on your shoulder and it's staring you in your face, and that's what you're being presented with, whether it's your friends sending it to you, your wife, or your co-workers, or different track and field people, the administration, whomever. Yes, it's your work has impacted him in such a way that it's bombarding his psyche.
Right.
Okay. So how does that make you, when you register this as an artist, barring this, as an artist, taking your talent into the threshold of how do you grasp the community or grasp the masses, can you see how what you've done is very profound as it relates to you getting your messaging out to the people?
I think when I think about it, and again, I want to first sit there and say this is probably the wrong thing to say to him. If he could hear me right now, thank you for giving me that power.
Right.
Because to me, I didn't think I did have that impact. I just went and
Mhm.
boosted my spike in my algorithm. Obviously, I
Right.
obviously see the data and I see the views, but
Mhm.
in reality, for me and him, I sit there. I like, do I care about his psyche? Honestly, I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it to
And you
me,
shouldn't. You shouldn't.
and I should, because I know he doesn't care. He could care less about me. So,
Right.
um,
Right.
uh, and my big thing is where what I'm doing for me is like it's for me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
if to me the best thing to me for him to do is get on the mic. Now he let this shit go on for like 10 months. You know what I'm saying? Like like you let it go on for 10 months. That's kind of crazy right in itself. And I don't think I have that rep. I don't know if I could destroy his reputation even if I truly tried, because at the end of the day,
Mhm.
he's who he is. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And again, I'm this content creator. I've been late. Like there was a period where people were calling me the angry coach. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm the angry coach, and that's the narrative that's out there. You know what I'm saying? It goes
Mhm.
two ways. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I can't get. I can say that he can say that I'm affecting his recruiting, which I highly doubt that, because here's the other performance right now. University of Tennessee's women and men are ranked 1 and 8 in the nation.
Mhm.
So that contradiction right there is right there. And let
Right.
alone his recruiting class was pretty solid. So where
Mm.
I'm asking for, I'm like, if anything, I gave you pretty good PR in
Okay.
my
Quick
mind,
question.
because
Quick question. Is Greg Lambert the angry coach?
ooh, I think in 24, when I'm going through the EEOC case and
Mhm.
everything, I think
Okay.
this is the I was. I'm not gonna lie, because like you took everything. I felt like it was taken away from me.
Right. Right. Yeah. Expound on that though. I mean, because you just tapped into it just a little bit, and when you say everything, you just literally take everything away from you. I mean, let the people know what it is that you're talking about, because that would give true context when I asked the question, were you the angry coach? And you're saying back then when you're going through the EEOC situation, yes, you know. So give us a little background on that, G.
Um, when I say took everything away from me, uh, this sport is not kind at all. It's no different than anything in any industry, no different than the music industry. That there's politics that you have to play, and I didn't play those politics. I was in a different space.
Okay.
And it takes just one person to say one thing about you so that everything can be like that you may not be in the game anymore. So like I was in a position with him. I was there for 1 year. I can only know how your head coach departs you. I didn't depart with another job. See, if I depart with another job, like, am I back? Hello?
You coming back? Yeah, you
All
coming
right.
back.
Yeah,
I can hear. I
didn't.
can hear you. I just don't have a image.
Hold on. Let's see.
Take your
Let me log
time,
back
man.
out. Let me log back out and come back in.
Just the audio.
Hold on. I'm gonna log out. Come right back in.
Okay. We're gonna follow up with this conversation here in just a minute. We're getting into it with Greg Fury, aka my man Greg Lambert, aka G Fury, as he talks about what he's dealing with in the court battle he's dealing with an employer, and let's get on back into it. Let me bring Greg back on in.
Sorry about that. That's probably on
No,
me
we
this
good,
time.
man. We good. I'm glad it's on your end this time, not mine.
Yeah, my bad again.
So,
But
yeah, man,
every
come on with it, man. Bring it to me. Talk to me.
when they took everything, when they took everything, they just took like the opportunity. Like,
The mic breaking up. The
hold
mic
up, is this
breaking up.
better? Hold up, is this better?
Yes.
All right. So when I said they took everything from me,
Yeah.
it's like I left a job. I let go. I got let go from a job without having a job. So like
Right.
that's like a scarlet letter on any time that is with a coach. You know what I'm saying? And I've had that happen twice. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Now each situation is different. You know what I'm saying? But like this one, I knew felt different than those two, because those two I were able to rebound from, because it wasn't like it made me like it politically like tainted me completely, but that situation definitely did, and
Right.
then I'm well liked. So if someone's asking about me, they're asking, okay, what happened with Greg? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And whatever he says, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna carry weight. So I was out of coaching for a year. So
Okay.
like that's all I've known for 20 years. So
Right.
me to be able
Right.
to get a job, like, and like to like, before I was getting callbacks, you're supposed to get a call back if you were coaching the SEC.
Yeah.
You're supposed to get a call back,
Right.
but I'm not getting a single one. Like
Mhm.
the
So
last time I left the SEC and I was at Ole Miss, and that's because my head coach resigned. I interviewed for 3 head coaching jobs that year.
okay. So
So
my question to you within that, just to show you how much of a stand-up guy you are. Did you file any type of defamation claims because you know behind the scenes that this man was spreading negative content about you?
no, because it's like, first of all, it's hard. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
extraordinarily hard, right?
Right.
And I am, and again, like, it's hearsay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hearsay. Like I know. Shoot, I have a text message from a parent, from a young lady that was on the team, where he said that, I'm not gonna say he said, but the parent said that I was trying to sleep with athletes while I was there. Now, where would she get that information from?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So again, I'm not sitting there saying, you know what, I got this text message, let me go, you know what I'm saying, and let me file a suit. No, I'm like, it's, again, I can't link this. One, I know I can't. How am I going to link that to Ross? I gotta get her to confirm that. Said, hey, like, my daughter said, like, no, that's doing too much. And again, that's probably hurting. But that, like me doing a diss record off stuff that's factual and making fun of stuff, that is defamation versus what you did behind closed doors, which again is very, like, that does more damage. Saying I'm trying to sleep with athletes, like that's that to me. I take that, like, those kids are like anybody I've ever recruited is like a daughter to me. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a daughter or a son. You know what I'm saying? Like, I take pride in that. I am known in the game for being a good recruiter, good person, like personable. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have a good experience with me. You know, like, I spend time with you. Like, and mind you, he's saying that, and I have his daughter right next to me. Like, so you're trusting me with around your daughter, and you're saying that? That's kind of oxymoronic, in my opinion.
So let's get into some of these statements, or these derogatory statements, right? But the past misconduct, Dwayne Ross has a documented history of questionable behavior.
Correct.
He received a 2-year suspension from the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency for using performance-enhancing drugs, disqualifying all of his results since November the 2nd of 2001. His involvement in the Balco steroid case further underscores his troubled past, right?
Right.
Quote unquote family issues, and these are statements that are in this claim, right?
Right.
Okay. I mean, this whether he drafted it himself, whether a lawyer drafted, somebody had to put in work, time, effort, and energy to produce this work, right?
Right.
Okay. And these are things that he's saying that you've claimed in your music, or you've claimed, or that you've pushed out to the public, to the general public about him, or not even the general public, that small knit community, that track community, right? Okay. Under no other guise other than to protect your name, to protect, your sanity, to let, okay, if you're going to talk about me, let's bring it out to the public. Let's really bring it out to the public. If we're going to sit there and have a knockdown, drag out, and it's you already know that this man is not on social media, so he has no clue. He has no clue of what's happening. He has no clue at the click of a button. Once you've started to, once the train leaves the station, it's not stopping.
Right.
And even if there was a cease and desist, the information is still going to be out there.
Right.
You see, because there's no pulling it back at this point. You can't put the genie back into the bottle. So within the family issues side of it, his son, and this is all, and this is documented stuff. So I could say alleged or hypothetically or whatever, but no, when you go to do the research, you can find these things out yourself. His son, Rudolph Randolph Ross Jr., has also been suspended for doping violations, which kind of puts you in the mindset of, okay, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, so to speak. Okay. Whether his dad was involved or not, he still got caught up in it. So Ross's suspension, the junior suspension, through June 30th, 2025, for whereabouts, failures, and tampering with an email that rises up and has questions about the environment and influence that Dwayne Ross was under. He was definitely under watch. They were watching him. In the question, like you're saying, where did he learn that from? You know where he learned it from.
Correct.
So, and like I say, man, this whole thing that's laid out in front of you, this complaint, so to speak, I think is bogus. It's definitely bogus. And anybody can come up with some rhetoric, but I do believe he's trying to use his influence, and stand on the backs of either the administration and Tennessee to support his efforts, as though you're targeting Tennessee. Correct. And you're not targeting Tennessee. You're not even targeting anyone. You're just expressing what you're going through.
Correct.
based on what he did to you.
Correct.
That sounds like any country song that we listen to today. so, so the fact that you're good at being a content creator, and you've fast tracked the button to an individual that's in an era, because of his age, that's in an era, the era of unknowing. Okay, in this tech savvy society,
Right.
anyone that's 50 and older, unless you're just in it, unless you're a programmer, unless you do this, you're not tech savvy.
Right.
Right, you're in the era of the unknowing, especially when it comes to AI generated things. You're like, well, man, how I ain't never been around no P Diddy. I ain't never been around the coach from Michigan, and he got me in the hot tub. Like, come on, man, that he's trolling the hell out of you. That's what that is. We know what memes are. We know what, well, I do, at least. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's hard to, and anybody can take any images and superimpose and have
Right.
AI generate XYZ. But the question to bear is, what's too far? You see what I'm saying? What are you doing,
Yeah.
or do you feel like you're doing something that has gone too far? That's a question.
Too far. Well,
And
there's
don't, and
something.
before you answer that, don't think that I'm taking either or side. You know
I
what I'm
know,
saying?
no,
I'm
no,
just saying I
no.
want to know what
That's fair.
Lambert thinks. Has he taken it too far? Almost like people are asking Tracy Morgan, did he go too far with the homeless guy? Or asking Corey Holcomb, did he take it too far when he mushed the young lady in the street? I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
into
yeah,
putting my
yeah.
hands on women at all anyway, but I'm just stating that, so I'm asking, did G Fury take it too far?
Um, I think I don't think I've taken it too far.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I've taken the gloves off the way he took the gloves off.
Okay.
But I know he'll sit there and say, because there is a document which is kind of crazy, that he says that I I think there's in there that I took his face and put it on a child.
Oh
Now,
wow.
yeah, and that's what's funny is, and it's trying to say that, claiming that's his kid. That's what he's saying in the
Mm.
document. But what in reality is that I'm not capable of doing that. I don't have, I have yet to take someone's face and put it on it. So I have got to do that. So to me, he's
Mm.
either telling on himself, or like he's making me out to worse than what I really am. But like, again, I'm making spoof on stuff that, hey,
Right.
they're just like stuff that we talked, that stuff was talked about, and you're a public figure, so I'm making a joke, like,
Okay.
and whether you may not like it, because you sit there saying I'm talking about, and I'll take the bars, like I said paternity bars. I made fun of his assistant because I was like, yo, she sucks at her job. And I'm like, yo, like, either that's your BM, or she knows where the bodies are buried because you're letting her keep there. And I just made a joke off of it. Now, whether he thinks that I'm doing that, saying that's up for interpretation, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But I'm just making fun of the situation. Now, you may not like that I'm making fun of the situation, but I don't think
Mhm.
I've gone too far as even to that space when I used to shoot pictures of my son and his kids. So, like, I didn't do, as long as I'm not doing anything weird, like the Diddy stuff. Again, that's still not even weird. That's not even going over the envelope. That's with a grown ass man. And shoot, I made him
Mhm.
look like he's in shape. So, like, so
Okay.
Diddy would like him. But I didn't. If I'm not doing, but if I'm sitting there, I'm not doing anything where it's like out of pocket. Where, again, Instagram and the what is it, the AI tools, they're gonna let you go so far. There's limits even with them. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm doing within the guidelines. Obviously, I'm doing I get a press the button. You know what I'm saying? Because when they try to take my stuff down for copyright, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sharing that with the public. Look what they're doing. He's trying to censor me. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I'm pointing out. Now again, that's like
Mhm.
I don't think I don't think in the era of social media and the control that I can go to like go the length that he would think I would go and I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I've been playing no different than he has. Just I got better visuals.
Mhm. Okay. So, um, let me just make a quick statement, right? Because you have some information, um, and I don't know if this was in jest or funny or what you thought it was going to come across the platform, but Dwayne Ross's saga, "Happy Birthday, Champ," sent from Greg Lambert.
Yeah.
Okay, and this was sent to what I can see. It's been heavily redacted, and I can understand why, but it's been sent to every athletic department in the country. Every coach, every in the UTK, I guess the University of Tennessee,
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's been sent to everybody.
Yeah.
Whoever's email that you
Yeah.
had.
I did. Yeah. I
Okay.
did that. I own that, you know. So I mean,
Okay. So that in itself, this is the question. I don't know because I don't I'm like I said, I don't have a dog in the fight, but that is spamming. Yes. And
right.
then on the other side of it, would that be considered electronic bullying?
Bullying? I would call it spamming.
Okay. Okay.
I
Okay.
call it spamming.
Uh-huh.
And and just to give full context, you know,
Okay.
just to make sure we like, I didn't do
Yeah.
that until because I want you really when I look at this document and I'm taking me out of it emotionally, right? I gotta
Right.
really truly take.
You have to. You definitely have to. Right.
I am, and I know that, and if again, if I look at it like, if I look at it from a whole, because I know there's gaps, because again, I know what I can see what he's experiencing, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And he took down before I sent that email, those emails. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, I was like, I was calculated with this. He took down he reported my content. So
Hmm.
when I say that, this is not, I want to make this look so we can see it. These are two men going, we're both trolling each other. One's just doing it a little bit more publicly, other one's doing it more privately and trying to use the shield to protect them. Because it's two men going tit for tat. That's what I see, tit
Hmm.
for tat. If I'm even putting myself in there. So when he did that, I was like, well, you know what? Let's tell the story about what's going on. Mind you, I'm going to spam it, yes. And I want them to look at my content. I want them to listen to it. It's
Hmm.
like it is creative. But if we're gonna be, I look at it as spamming and trolling. You know, that's how I look at it.
Okay.
And that's and I feel like I'm reacting to his troll for taking down content that was up for a month and a half, and he reacts to it because he doesn't like the views and he doesn't like the views and he doesn't like the that he hasn't got his recruiting class on the men's side has been ass.
Okay. So the happy birthday email that went out to hundreds of people. What were the responses that came? Because people know you. It's not like they don't know who
Yeah,
you are.
right.
And it's not like they don't know about the ongoing saga between
Right.
you and Ross. So, what were some of the responses that came across your email messaging, text message, or phone calls when that hit their email box and they finally hit the open button and saw the video, saw the information, saw whatever it is that you may have sent to them?
To be honest, no one responded. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
I think you don't know what to. I don't think they know how to respond to that. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Hmm.
like either it's spam and they're looking at like, oh, either I looked at it or I clicked on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can tell the data views and the streams if it increased. Did I have a giant spike? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? No, but I knew that there was. I had more than usual. But like,
Okay.
I'm not gonna sit there and say like that. That's probably the only significant data that that was given for me. You know what I'm saying? I think like I wasn't expecting anybody to respond back. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Um,
So with that particular maneuver, right?
mhm.
With that particular approach, because either which way it goes, you're still trolling Ross. Whether
Right.
it's funny at this point or whether it's strategic, however it may be. And even if it was a strategic move within your blueprint based on you wanting to move the algorithm and increase awareness of your situation and your music and your artistry, do you think that particular move paid off, or did it hinder you from gathering from those same emails and individuals that you could have sent outside of, a text along those lines or MP3 or video along those lines, something within your artistry that would be appealing to them? Something, some of the music that you want them to hear and know that, hey man, I got a EP coming, or I've got, because that could be, your audience being built.
Yeah, right, right.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it could help with the audience, me building my audience. But I think the real thing it really did was create the story.
Okay.
Even more so. I think he doesn't do that, and I'm gonna be honest. Like I said, I knew he would be able to do. He would do something like that, but I kept saying, it is not in his best interest to do this because I will make content about this, and I'm on here with you. So it's like I think if it has an interesting story because you have another black man trying to censor another black man over his content, and not just like it'd be one thing if I was like the newspaper. It's art. You're trying to censor art. Like that's kind of
Hmm.
weird in itself. And like I don't know how you can censor art and censorship in there because that is going to be that's a sticky can of worms that that you're now going to enter. Like the injunction that he tried to get in the temporary restraining order, the courts have already referred it to another judge to have a take a look at it. That should show
Hmm.
you the urgency that they're looking at it because you waited 10 months. Why would they give it to you in 10 months? They don't even know if they have jurisdiction over it. So like
Hmm.
those things right there, like to me are big tells of where this case really is, even in the state. I think he's trying to use his influences only can go so far, but the University of Tennessee is not even on his case. Like that
Right.
would if the University of Tennessee was on his case, first of all, he's not forking out any money for that.
Right.
And they can shut me. They have a better way, quicker way of shutting me down than he does.
Hmm.
So for that being the case, the fact that they're not on it, and the fact that like this, that should tell you a lot, and that should be very telling.
Hmm. So now that this is out there, now that it's taken on its own course and it's grown some wings, what is G Fury's next move and next project that he will be um, bringing to the public through your AI generated talent? Talk to me.
Shoot. I decided to make a soundtrack to it. Um,
Okay.
so I have a soundtrack to it that would add the commentary, but it's also even adding more content to like to give where I'm at and where we are in the process. Because right now, in the process, I'm now transitioning to getting it dismissed. And that's going to
Hmm.
be my right now where I'm at. Really, and
Right.
I've kind of given you little bit of my argument of why it should be dismissed. Because it's
Right.
like yeah, like it is frivolous. Like and let alone
Hmm.
he should have filed in Maryland. But that's purposely. So like I think the whole thing was this for my personal opinion was to scare me. So I think I'm gonna go the opposite direction in that regard. Um, I'll probably sit there and say like the trolling while this is going this portion of it is going to is going to cease right now. But I will sit there and educate. You know what I'm saying? Because until the litigation is, I will go back and they find where the space it is. I'll sit there and I'll go back to that. But that's not important at this point because now there's a story that I can tell going moving forward, because I want the people to know that what is in that public record. Why would you want me to have injunctions of that? Because you don't want me to talk about that, let
Mhm.
alone like why is that a fear of my voice versus sitting, and that's the remedy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
uh, and then on 500,000, like where I still haven't figured out where he lost that. So my whole thing is my content must increase, not increase, but just I got to keep going with it. I got to be able to tell the story. I think the soundtrack of it is kind of dope to have an idea. I mean, it's probably a little bit defiant, but the soundtrack of it is called Wanted. I think that's kind of giving you, because I feel like I'm wanted, like I'm Billy the Kid, like they're stalking me, like there's a bounty on my head. I like someone's spending about close to $100,000 on me. I kind of feel like a little special right now. Like
Mhm.
he's spending that money out of his pocket right now to
Mhm.
take me out. So for me, I feel like the story has to keep being told, whether it's through imagery, whether it's through my AI commentary, whether it's for me just my music. You know, like I want to be able to share the story as I'm going through it, as well as how I'm, and to show that one, I'm unbothered by this. Like
Mhm.
that's the most important thing. Like I think in this process, they get like right now I have no lawyer, but the fact is I feel confident enough to sit there. I wrote my dismissal just because I took some time and to look at what the angle that I was going to, how I was going to approach it, and reached out to some friends, and obviously you finally use the resources that I have to create to show them. Because I think it's also like I take down a guy that paid me by myself, like
Mhm.
using AI, leveraging AI to deal with this. Because like again, it's making, at this point it's about what information that you have to understand
Mhm.
the current situation that you're in. In this case, I understand the situation I was in, and I feel like I've been prepared for this for like over a year.
Mhm. Okay. Well, how does your spouse support you in what you're doing? Because this takes a lot of time.
Right,
It's putting a $500,000 judgment over your head
right,
that the courts could possibly agree on.
correct.
Um, so that in itself can yield or be stress in itself on the family. And coming from the individual that was supposedly in your corner, he
Right,
asked you to come out to Tennessee to
right.
work. So, from your spouse's standpoint, and I'm not asking you to speak on her behalf, but the family impact and the dynamic that you have with her and your sons and all that, how is she viewing this whole situation?
My wife views very things very black and white.
Okay.
So her mindset is, oh, he's lying. I
Hmm.
said, yeah, I'm agreeing with you, but that's not what we need to focus on. Let's just get it's frivolous. So let's just sit there and try to get this dismissed.
Okay.
Because she's more about the emotion of it. And I can tell how that was written. It was emotionally, the way he wrote it was to emotionally trigger me.
Right.
And or even the attorney was there to trigger me. And
Okay.
me to look at it because is to me to work and me to focus on the merit of the case versus worry about like, is this even the right forum for us to be discussing this?
Hmm.
So my wife now has to, now, when I talk to her like that, I said she has confidence in the situation. Obviously, it's stressful for any situation, but I tried to shield her from that because I'm like, look, she's like I said, like, this is a way we can leverage this
Right.
in this story, and she says
Hmm.
if you believe you can leverage it, I believe in you. Then we're gonna do it. Then just keep doing what you're doing. Like
Hmm.
obviously she doesn't want to get a $500,000 lawsuit, but like I said, I told her like this ain't about a 500,000. Ross ain't got I got a 500,000 to give him. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But it's here to make me to change my behavior, and he wants me to shook and jive. I'm not gonna shook and jive. Like you know what I'm saying? Like this is like if he wants to come, like come to Maryland. You know what I'm saying? Like come to Maryland. Like that's like if you really believe if he really truly believes he had a case, he would have came to Maryland. I don't think
Okay.
he believes it.
Right. So the scare tactics definitely aren't going to work. And putting the information out there um, into the public space
Mhm.
is definitely getting the court of public opinion on your side, or at least giving them the tenets of what is actually taking place
Correct.
from your perspective, right?
Right.
What do you think is the possibility or the probabilities of this entire complaint being dismissed based on its nature, and the fact that he has no legs to stand on, um, although he's painted a very vivid picture
Hmm.
of what one could consider to be defamation. And are you versed with the language of what defamation is, and being held liable
Yeah.
for what he is claiming? Talk to us about
Um.
that.
Um. I learned a lot about defamation in the last couple months. But
Okay.
I and what I've learned, especially with defamation, he said national reputation. That was something he emphasized.
Okay.
Well, he never said Tennessee.
Hmm.
That would have been a whole different thing. Because
Hmm.
again, if he spoke on a Tennessee forum, it would have been that is where it would have been. He could at least have a leg to stand on. So why, like, I go back to it, like, that is, I think those are glitches in his language, and you got to have to amend that. So either going to have to say Tennessee or national.
Okay.
Now
So
again,
so before you move forward, but don't you think his intention is okay? He works at Tennessee.
right?
He's a D1 coach. It would have national implications if he tried to get a job anywhere else. It's going to follow him wherever he goes.
I get it. He should
Okay.
put it in. He's in that regard. What form are you? Then you have to apply to. You can still come to Maryland. Like, it's like me getting a speeding ticket. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I get a speeding ticket if I get a speeding ticket in Maryland, right? I don't pay the fine in Tennessee. I did it in Maryland. All right. The
Hmm.
content was made in Maryland.
Okay.
So that is where you don't go where you felt it, you go where it was produced. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Where I committed the act.
Right.
So in this
Okay.
case, I'm going, like, why are we not in Maryland in this case? How is
Hmm.
Tennessee getting jurisdiction over me? And that's why I'm going back to this, the way the courts are looking at it right now. If they felt it was an emergency, or it was a temporary restraining order, they would have granted that right away. You know,
Hmm.
if again he let it go for 10 months, there's no cease and desist, no warning. Like, you didn't even go in any of those steps. What made it? And he says it in there until he couldn't anymore. So was it
Hmm.
your ego at that point? Because it doesn't sound like it was like you haven't. He didn't say once in that document, like, named recruits, listed recruits of who he lost. Like, he never put that in there. He just said it. Recruiting reputation. I could sit there and say, yeah, it hurts my recruiting reputation a million times. But if I don't have
Hmm.
anything to prove it, what does that mean? Like,
Okay.
he hasn't shown any damages. I want to.
Hmm. So
I'm pointing these things out.
right. So this needs to be dismissed on the fact that it has no merit at all.
Has no merit, and it has and jurisdiction. Jurisdiction and venue are the biggest things, because you got to look. It has
Hmm.
no merit, no jurisdiction. He has
Hmm.
not defined any. He's yet to define any damages, and like, I think he's throwing money at it, and I'm gonna say, to be fair, and I'm going based off speculation. This is just me on speculation, and to be
Hmm.
fair, and I can sit there and look at it from another way of it. So I don't think this has to really do as much with me as it has him to do with him in Tennessee, because I can understand, like, I don't know what conversations he's had with that AD since I left, and I can't imagine those conversations being any good if he
Right.
has, you
Right.
know. So what you're preparing for is something that has not happened yet. You know what I'm saying? That you've lost a
Hmm.
500,000. You haven't
Right.
lost a 500,000. So I don't understand his loss. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Versus he hasn't lost, like, you haven't showed me, like, have you and your wife gotten divorced? You know what I'm saying? Like, have you gone to see a like you said, mental harm? Like, yo, have you gone to a therapist? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like, like, this is, if I'm cyberbullying you so much, on something that you're not on, like I'm just trying to understand, so that's if I'm trying to understand that component of it. I know my approach has to be asking those things and asking, is this the right place to be talking about this thing, because he hasn't said anything in that remotely quantifies his loss, the damages, and exact of what is going on. I'm not saying anything that didn't say what he's not but it hasn't shown it, and let alone that, how can Tennessee take venue on a national stage unless he said, "Oh, it's going to affect me getting a job in Tennessee." The Tennessee community, like, and then there's nothing where I specifically said a Tennessee forum, like there's
Right.
nothing in there. I've kept it very. I have not, and again, he's saying national, so I'm almost going off his words too on that. So like, again, I'm going to go based off that. He should probably be filing in Maryland. If I was, I'm not a lawyer, but if I was his lawyer, because I can't get it out of jurisdiction or venue on that, because at that point I got to deal with that. Now he goes to Maryland, he got to deal with Maryland being a blue state, and they're going to deal with like arts and being with art and creativity. So that's going, good luck with that, and you have no influence there. But I don't think you have. I think he's also misjudging it that Tennessee's going to have influence and empathy for him, because I think the way he's documented it, as I'm reading it, it wasn't written as fact, and and it was not written with procedural or any defamation of where Tennessee could choose jurisdiction. Like
Okay.
he's just, that's how I see that complaint.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with my man Greg Lambert, aka G Fury, AI creator, um, a very talented young man who has taken his struggles with Dwayne Ross, who was the head coach of track and field at the University of Tennessee, to a whole new level, I should say. Uh, we've never seen it scripted or done this way, whereas you've um, created your own vertical, your own lane, your own niche, your own genre, and did direct to consumer target marketing on your on your life as it relates to what I would say pushing out content of your situation based on your life and real to form, including the track world, targeting the track world, and talking about what you've experienced as a D1 coach, which is a very high level coach, in a system where you have very powerful people and influence that are at this point you're at odds with, and I'm just saying that because there could be an uptick if Tennessee began to really pay attention or put what it is that you've been pushing out about Dwayne. If they really take it into consideration that it's not free speech, that it's not that it is something that is defamatory, or it is something that you could be held liable for based on how you're very poignantly describing the situation and what he's done and what's going on between the both of you. Yes, could you handle it a different way? Of course you could, but I can appreciate how you decided to handle it, Greg. Like I said, I've never seen it done this way, and I can only say that based on how you're marketing and pushing this product, anything that you put your mind to as it relates to your work is going to be, because you have to go at it with the same fervor and the same effort all the way across the board, because that's how you're going to become so successful in what it is that you're doing. Because it catches your eye, it grasps your attention. It's a story. You're a storyteller. You're putting your you're saying you're leaving the emotions at the door, but you're breaking it down. You're also educating people about how the system works, right?
Right.
How to really look at legal documents and have a true understanding of what these things mean,
Right.
um, from your standpoint of it. From questions that you've asked from friends, attorneys, or whoever the case may be, wherever you're gathering these your resources from. But that has little to do with your mind and how you're applying this magic that you have, this inner spirit that you have, that you're putting on full display. Any project that you take under, my friend, is going to be so impactful because you're showing me the passion that you have behind this particular situation with, creating the rap beef, so to speak, with your nemesis, Dwayne Ross. So anything that you like the Michael Jordan, he needed somebody to be mad at him or to be mad at, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that you can get
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
best
Yeah.
of
Yeah. Yeah.
him on the court, because I mean you got everything you want under the sun, but you have to have something that lights that spark. And
Right. Right.
um that just shows me that you have so much more to give, the pool of artistry, in everything that you're doing, man. And I'm here to support you,
Thank
Greg.
you.
I play devil's advocate with this situation, but I'm in full support of you and your
Thank
efforts.
you.
And of course, we can see that this is some erroneous bullshit that has been filed against you, and definitely should be dismissed or thrown out, on its head, based on, like you say,
Right.
locale, based on proximity, and of course the merits of the situation, and it has more to do with expression, your right of expression, free
Right.
speech, and being able to talk about the person that fired you. There's nothing. Hey man, he fired me, so I'm just talking about it. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything false here. Everything that I'm saying has merit and is true. So let's keep it a buck. I'm just expressing to the world, and I'm good at doing this, as you can see, because they said that you were successful. You have succeeded in.
They said it, not me. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like if they're empowering me
right.
and I'm successful, but
Hmm.
it's funny when you read it, it's like they
Yeah,
they 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 try to they make me very minimalize me, and then all of a sudden they give me big me up. So it's like
yeah,
I'm like um I'm honored. You know what I'm saying when he says that. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
I think I like to look at it as
You just got to keep pressing the gas, man. Don't stop doing what you're doing. That's my suggestion to you. Don't stop doing what you're doing, because you did say a little bit ago you're falling off. You're breaking off on me.
hold on. That's
Okay,
me.
and we've been talking with Greg Lambert, aka G Fury, and we're about to, when he comes back on, we're going to wrap everything up. But it's been a great conversation as we broke down his complaint that has been filed against him, with this lawsuit, and how he's taken his artistry and turned it into his defense system. And I think that is somewhat classic. You back, G?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and like I said, I do believe that what he is doing, what he has done, is classic. It is art. It is expression. It is letting the world know what you're going through without losing your damn mind,
Right.
because things like this happen in life, and instead of just crawling off into a corner and shutting down from the world, you're letting it be known. You found your voice, and you're giving it to them. That's hip hop, if I'm not
Right.
mistaken.
That's hip
You
hop.
know, that's hip hop. It's not gangster rap, it's hip hop, you know. So G's coming in and out. Um,
My back.
and I just see the black image. It's can we get you back on scene before we close this out? He's gonna come back in just the same. And we've been having a really entertaining conversation today about this file that was claimed against G Fury, $500 million lawsuit um, that was waged against him because of his music, and fighting. He's been fighting the good fight, and I do believe that he's going to win. He's going to win this battle. So, G, before we get off this thing, G Fury, before we get off this thing, um, or because it's going on 6:30, so we've been going at it for a good little minute. And I'm talking about straight conversation. We didn't have anything. We have no interruptions. So we're looking good here. Hold on a second. You still having a little trouble, G?
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming a little fuzzy. That's me. That me. You hear me?
You good?
You hear me? You hear me?
Yeah, we'll let you come back in just a second. We'll let him come back in just a second. As soon as he gets everything squared away. But it was a great conversation. We had a very, very in-depth and honest conversation about his situation, and he laid it all out on the line. And it's in the court of public, you know, appearance and appeal. But there again, we're not the judge or the jury in this situation. Um, there you go, G.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You okay? You okay?
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not going to turn for you. Let me see what you don't have to move it. Let me see if I can do something here. Oh no, that's not going to work. There you go.
It should be able to turn it.
Yeah. See if that.
That work?
Well, you sideways now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Not
And it's probably
yeah,
because the screen isn't active to turn, but that's okay. We about to close out, G. We about to close out. Because I want to give you the last words. I want you to sit there and let the public know um, how you want to close this thing out and how to get in contact with you, how to follow you on social media, and the whole 9 yards.
All right. First of all, you can follow me on at gfury_AI Entertainment, or also on TikTok, gfury music. You can find me, and also on YouTube. You can find me at gfury music on my YouTube channel. Subscribe, and so you can follow me on my platforms. You can also find me as Greg Lambert on Facebook as well. So you'll find me there, and you can see all my information. Yeah, I just keep following the story, keep show some love and support. I'm excited about going through this through the process. So please, show some support. Just a view means so much. The stories, and if there's anything that you want, I do AI videos and AI clones. So that is something that if you need a clone, come holler at me. I can do. I don't just do music videos. I can do AI clones and anything for any social platforms. All right. So it's me, G Fury. So you know where you all can find me. So just don't hesitate and don't be a stranger.
Okay. Yes, indeed. I appreciate you. G, and you heard what he said, ladies and gentlemen. If you need your own AI clone, get at him. He's got a $500 million lawsuit he's got to pay here. I'm kidding. He needs you to sit there and buy some of these AI images, some of this intellectual stuff, some of this AI artistry that he's creating out here, ladies and gentlemen.
Maybe
You
a
know,
GoFundMe for the case.
yeah, that's right. In all seriousness, though, support my brother, support Greg, follow him at Greg Lambert on Facebook and G Fury _AI_ entertainment, correct?
Right.
Okay, on IG. And check our brother out, man. Go see for yourself what pulled me in, what compelled me to go click on one of those fantastic reels and then get caught up into the story. It's a whirlwind of information that's out there, and it's up to you to grab it how, when, and where you want it. G, I appreciate you, man. It's been another great episode of Industry Talk here on the Prime Time Network. Ladies and gentlemen, with me, it's always about health, wealth, and wellness. Hey, man, stay dangerous. You've been locked into another great episode of Primetime Pod. Major salute to our guest. And remember, ain't no time like prime time. This is your main man, Big G, with Industry Talk. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to our network, Primetime Pod. And as always, beautiful people, it's about health, wealth, and wellness.
Primetime Pod. Make sure you check it out.
Now, why the fuck you think he missing? He say that. Now, I'm not trying to get a little messy with you.
Time is money.
They go trap.